Hi, I'm going to read a little book for you. Tales from the Shadows by Devra Newberger Speregen. Tales from the Shadows. Who knows what terrors lurk in the night shadows? Wander into the unlit wing of a hospital where strange experiments are underway. Enter a tiny head shop with a secret curse. Bead shop, my bad. Or spend the night playing an unreleased version of your favorite virtual reality game. But don't expect anything to be the same in the morning. Who or what was in their cabin? Stuart raised his stick in the air and swallowed hard. I don't know, he gulped. But we should definitely get out of here. This is too weird. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed throughout the cabin, the sound of muffled laughter. Stuart spun around and noticed a dark figure moving along the back wall of the cabin. He pointed a shaky finger at the figure. Do you see that? He whispered. That was a little excerpt. Whatever. This edition published in 2002. Copyright 1996 by Troll Communications LLC. Published by Watermill Press, an imprint and trademark of Troll Communications LLC. Printed in Canada. What if this applies to me? All rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or utilized in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, recording, or by any information storage and retrieval system. Without written anything about audio or spoken. I'm going to take that as a go ahead. Me or my shadow? This is the cabin? 12-year-old Stuart Kenner stared at the rundown cabin in front of him. This is where we're sleeping tonight. He couldn't believe his eyes. It's a dump, he explained. Stuart's father came up behind him. Oh, come on, Stu, he said. It isn't that bad. Stuart curled his upper lip in disgust, then looked at his friends. He could tell from their expressions that they thought the cabin was pretty bad, too. Ben Hirsch, Stuart's best friend, spit out a huge wad of chewing gum which landed on the ground. Yeah, a dump, he grumbled. It sure looks different in the brochure. Yeah, that happens, though. Sure looks different, said Alec Summers, another of Stuart's buddies. Alec tossed his backpack on the ground and picked up his portable CD player. I gotta read ahead a little earlier, I think. Does it even have electricity, he asked. Mr. Kenner shook his head. Guys, I told you when you signed up for the scouting overnight. We were roughing it. No electricity, no running water, just us and nature. Pillow. Stuart rolled his eyes. He still couldn't believe they'd driven for 3 hours just to... You know what? I bet audio ain't coming in very good because I don't have it set up good properly. That shows it's like a gaming headset looking thing. Let's click those three things. I want to do that. Whatever. Let's just keep going. All right? Forget that. Good. Oh my God, old Mr. Kenner shook his head. Guys, I told you when you signed up for this scouting overnight we were roughing it. No electricity, no running water, just us and nature. Stuart rolled his eyes. He still couldn't believe they drove for 3 hours just to stay in some rundown cabin in the middle of nowhere. You know, if you already just have the mindset that you're camping, it doesn't matter how bad the cabin is. You'll sleep outside if it's worse than 10. He pulled his backpack from the van and set it down on the ground. Well, at least it's a chance to use my new backpack, Stuart thought to himself. The Trail Sport Ultra Deluxe steel frame camping cap knapsack. had been a gift from his parents on his 12th birthday. It was pretty cool, with lots of secret compartments and pockets, and even its own Swiss Army compass attached. Mr. Kenner, a shy, quiet voice suddenly spoke out. Well, what time is it? Stuart made a face. Don't you wear a watch, Garrett? He asked. Drake Garrett stared at the ground. He nervously readjusted his black baseball cap. Yeah, but it's broken, he replied. So get it fixed, Stuart said. Yeah, just do it. I mean, it's easy. Everybody has a watchmaker friend that does stuff for free, or maybe he had it sent in. Maybe it's at what was that big watch I wanted? They make these really nice, like 75 odd movement pocket watches, all sorts of chimes and whatnot. So I mean, Stuart might be getting it fixed. So get it fixed, Stuart said in a nasty tone. Or are you going to be asking us what time it is all night? Mr. Cannell held. Okay, now listen to me, everyone. We didn't come up here to pick on Drake. Everyone had better start getting along, or they're going to have a deal with me. Is that understood, Stuart? Uh-oh. Well, I think I broke something. Oh, I got my NVIDIA overlay. Need that for audio. God, where did I leave off? Anyways, oh yeah. Stuart looked down at the ground. Yes, Dad, he said. Then he shot a look at Drake. What a loser that kid was, with his long, stringy hair, pasty skin. Well, that somebody's got a boy crush. Stuart still couldn't figure out why Drake had come on the trip. Drake was such a geek, such a weirdo. He seemed to be afraid of everything. He was probably even afraid of his own shadow. That's a little foreshadowing for you. I did read this story. Remember that part. But Dad had insisted that Drake be invited to come on overnight. It wouldn't be fair to exclude him, he said. Drake was a member of the scout troop and had the right to go on the overnights like everybody else. Stuart, Ben, and Alec were surprised. Drake had even wanted to go on the trip in the first place. For one thing, Drake never hung out with them, probably because they gave him such a hard time. Stuart knew that sometimes he could be pretty mean to Drake, but he couldn't seem to help it. That's a narcissist. Drake always acted so weird. Oh, there we go. He's so obsessed, kind of a crush on Drake. So he has to hide that feeling and be a dick. Like how he wore that dumb baseball cap every single day. Yeah, how dare he? He wore it with the flap in the back. Stuart wondered if he ever took it off. Alec joked that Drake probably showered with it on. If he showered, that is. Another reason they thought it was weird that Drake had been willing to go camping with them was that Drake never seemed to go anywhere, except for school and troop meetings. Drake lived on Stuart's block, 2 doors away, in fact, but Stuart had never seen him outside playing even once. Okay, Troop, Mr. Kenner finally said. Let's check out the inside of the kit. Doesn't go well. Good idea, Dad, Stuart said. What a brown noser. Oh, man, Dad, you're the best. Who else would have thought of that? Oh, boy. Make sure the last overnight scout troop isn't decomposing inside or something. Ben and Alex snickered, but Stuart noticed Drake turned a bit green in the face. What's the matter, Drake? Stuart asked. You don't want to share the cabin with a few dead, rotting bodies. Drake stared down at the ground. I know you're just joking, he said quietly. Stuart leaned in real close to Drake and stared in his eyes. Are you sure? He asked gravely. Ben and Alec cracked up. Drake gulped nervously. Cut it out, Stuart, he mumbled. I said that's enough, Stuart, Mr. Kenner said sternly. Get off Drake's case already, guys. Start bringing our stuff into the cabin. Stuart picked up his backpack and opened the door. As soon as he stepped inside, a nauseating odor hit his nostrils. The cabin was also a mess, a thick coating of dust on the furniture and floors, dirty dishes in the sink, and stained, moth-eaten mattresses scattered around the room. Oh, gross, Stuart. Oh, he's kind of a candy ass. Alec and Ben came up behind him. Yuck, Alec explained, pinching his nose with his fingers. What is that disgusting smell? Dan's eyes watered. Oh man, I think I'm going to puke. Mr. Kenner followed the boys inside. The putrid odor made him gag. I don't know what it is, he said, but it's terrible. Maybe there's a dead animal somewhere, Ben suggested. Mr. Kenner nodded. Well, let's see if we can find it and get rid of it, he said. I'm not searching around for some dead animal, Stewart explained. I'm going out of here. Getting out of here. He ran back out the door. Mr. Kenner and the boys followed him outside. You're right, said Mr. Kenner as he closed the cabin door behind him. Even if we find whatever died in there and get rid of it, the cabin will still reek. The place is filthy besides. We can't sleep in there. I guess there's only one thing left to do. Go home, Stewart asked, hopefully. Hopefully. Mr. Kenner made a face. No, Stewart, we didn't drive for 3 hours just to turn around and go home. Come on, this is the great outdoors. We're supposed to be roughing it, so let's rough it. Tonight, we'll all sleep outside. Stewart, Alec, and Ben exchanged looks. Outside, they asked in unison. Little I don't know how to say that word yet. Is it anecdotal or do we not? Anecdotal? I was in a scout troop. I don't remember a lot of it, but we never went outdoors. No, technically at the Boy Scout. I was in Cub Scouts, never Boy Scouts. But the Boy Scout camp, we went to a couple of times to do that egg drop thing. Military helped. It was pretty fun. Mr. Kenner smiled. Sure, we have sleeping bags, so what's the problem? In fact, sleeping under the stars is what camping is all about. For a moment, nobody said anything. Then a small voice spoke up. It was Drake. Mr. Kenner, we gotta make sure. We're gonna cut it off on page 10. I think I'm limited to like 15 minutes, and we're at 12, and we're at a good place. All right. Glad you enjoyed today's reading, or maybe you didn't. Still glad that you showed up. Whatever. Thanks.